Imagine Los Angeles after the war. A kid who learns early that the world does not hand out favors. He sells newspapers as a child, spends time in foster care, and learns to hustle in a city that is bigger than he is. That boy grew into a young man who would later describe his life as often down, but never out. His name is John Paul DeJoria. But here's the first twist. This is not a story that starts at a boardroom table or in a fancy office. The decisive chapters begin in the smallest, humblest places: a janitor's broom closet, a parking lot where a car is also a bed. After serving in the Navy, taking odd jobs, and pounding the pavement as a door-to-door salesman, John Paul bounced, not once but twice, into homelessness. He slept in cars. He sold encyclopedias and shampoo. He learned how to listen to people and how to sell a promise, not just a product. Now hold that image. A man in a 20-year-old Rolls-Royce, sleeping in the back seat, clutching a business plan no one believed in. It's almost cinematic, and yet it's true. The plan was for Haircare, salon-grade products that stylists could trust. With a partner who understood the craft, and with a loan so small it feels like folklore, $700, a company was born. That company would become John Paul Mitchell Systems. Now here's the twist you didn't expect. Success did not arrive like a single lightning strike. It arrived as a series of near misses, door slams, and one stubborn refusal to let failure be the final answer. In the early days, stylists refused to carry the bottles. Distributors hung up the phone. But John Paul kept knocking. He gave out samples. He stood in salons, hands raw from delivering product and pitches, watching a skeptical industry slowly open its door. Then a second twist, a pivot that seemed improbable at the time. Tequila. Why would a man who sold shampoo look at agave fields and see opportunity? Because he had learned to spot quality where others saw only commodity. Working with a partner, he bought the rights to a small traditional Mexican tequila and positioned it deliberately as an ultra-premium spirit. The packaging, the story, the exclusivity, everything was designed to make people feel like they were buying something rare. That's where another comeback shows itself. John Paul did not build empires by copying the market. He created new categories. Where there was value perception to be crafted, he planted a flag. Over decades, the Haircare line grew into a trusted brand in salons across America. Patrón, the tequila, became synonymous with premium craft spirits. Another twist arrives near the end of the film. The payoff was enormous, not just in money, but in scale and consequence. Years later, Patrón was sold in a headline-grabbing deal that validated the premium strategy, a deal that changed the industry's expectations about what tequila could be. But this story is not a straight road to riches. It is also a story of values and craft, and of a man who never forgot the places he'd slept. John Paul became known not only for bold bets, but also for giving back, philanthropy, conservation, and initiatives that returned opportunity to others. It's as if the same persistence that built salons and a premium tequila brand now buys meals and opportunities for others. Listen to the rhythm of the setbacks, the long pauses where doubt could have settled, and then to the cadence of the comebacks. Here is what we learn when we watch closely. Resilience is not bravado. It is a series of tiny decisions. Keep knocking, ship the sample, protect the reputation, repeated until the margins turn. Now the reveal you've been waiting for. The man who slept in a car did not become famous because someone handed him luck. He became a lesson in patience, in knowing when to double down on quality, and in telling a story so well that people wanted to be a part of it. In the epilogue, and here's the human note, John Paul invests in causes that echo his beginnings: feeding children, supporting entrepreneurship, and fighting for dignity. It's as if the same persistence that built salons and a premium tequila brand now buys meals and opportunities for others. A final cinematic twist: success in his definition is not a number on a balance sheet. Success, he says, is shared. So when you see his trains and his hotels and his philanthropic projects, remember the other scenes, the parking lots, the sample bottles passed hand to hand, the polite no's, the nights in a car. If there is one takeaway from this story, one instruction to anyone listening, it is this: look for the intersection between craft and courage. Build something you would pay for yourself. And when doors close, knock on the next one, louder if you must. Thank you for listening. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that comebacks are often composed of small, steady fights.